Good afternoon and welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Akinshe and we will be kicking off the show discussing the creative economy. And joining me, I have Yemi Akinyemi Dele, popularly known as Yemi AD. Yemi, welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
And I mean, going through your bio, you started off as a dancer, a choreographer, you've moved behind the scenes to work with top international artists, to do great productions across the world. But now you're home, you're in Nigeria. What motivated you to come home?
Well, simply the fact that I have never been here before.
And has the Nigeria that you've seen so far lived up to the expectation and to what you've been seeing in the media?
You know what? There is a lot Nigerians say about Nigeria, not even like what world think how life is here and what the life is here is two different things.
In what way? And what are the differences?
Well, because first of all, in Europe, you don't really see any news from Africa. You never see like nothing. If you don't want to see it, if you don't Google it, go like search for it, you don't see. They don't show us anything. So because my father is from Nigeria, I was always like trying to learn as much, learn how to cook the food and so on. So I knew, but being here on the ground is a total different feeling. Like I think the biggest difference is the energy of people. There is like so much energy, like the way like people welcome me here. And I was yesterday at a dance competition, just like with the kids, and I saw them dance, I saw them sing, I saw them play instruments, and it was amazing.
And did you feel at home? Like you're Nigerian, your father is Nigerian, your mom is Czech.
I must say that I was afraid because in Czech people say I'm black, and here they say I'm white. So
has anyone called you Oyibo?
No. Okay. I wouldn't even know what it means.
Oh, that means someone that's fair skinned. So in case you hear that, that's
what
Oyibo?
It means. Okay, Oyibo. I'm going to okay, don't do that. So the purpose of my travel here was a workshop in the University of Lagos, which was held on Friday. And besides my lecture on the future of creativity, I also brought scholarships for students who would like to do either dancing or coding, because many people think there's not so much creativity in coding, software development, but there actually is. And that was the first time I felt like home. Like the class was full, it was like 100-something people, and I gave the lecture, and then I started to like talk to the people, and I realized that I missed a lot.
Oh, so coming back home will be something that will be on the agenda.
Definitely. I'm coming back again in December. This is just the beginning of the mission that I initiated, and with the materials and with the things that I learned, I will try to bring more to be able to enable other young talents to pursue their dreams.
I mean, you've worked with top acts like Kanye West, for example. What has that experience been like working with, top producers, top artists across the world?
It's funny because you have a dream and you never think about what you do when you fulfill it, right? Your aim is like just to get there. But I got there, and then like I did the VMAs, I did the Saturday Night Live, I directed the Jesus Tour, I did Coachella and so on. So many things. I traveled like around the planet several times, and dance and choreography, art direction brought me this opportunity. So then I was thinking, so what do I do now? I still,
what next?
Yeah.
Like you've reached the epitome of what some people dream of all their lives.
And I feel like this is maybe just an opportunity for me to understand how can I turn this into something also for others? Because we all, some people have a hard time take care of themselves. To take care of others is like a next level. So I believe that for me, what's fulfilling is to share, to teach, and to try to get that experience and try to explain other people, young talents. I'm really like fan of talent. Like when I see somebody who's talented, I really like want to go for it. So I hope I can do that here.
And speaking of talents, which you have many of, you've been a dancer, a producer. Which of these talents did you enjoy exploring the most?
Well, dance was always like my universal language, because when I was born in the 80s in Czech Republic, and I was the only black person in the city.
Wow.
For many years, and maybe until 12 or 13, then another black guy moved in.
Just you
just
in
me.
the entire city?
The city was 100,000 people. It was just me. So And it was hard because, you know, it was communism. So, so me and my mom, we were like struggling. So dance for me was a time when other kids would want to play with me because they would want to learn the steps or the moves. And it would be like the unifying moment. So it stayed close to my heart. And then, of course, the music is inspiring. So I would always come, no matter where I am, on what level of business I am, I will always come back to dance because dance has opened doors for me and have allowed me to meet the greatest people on this earth. So dance it is. But in my most current career, last year we were working on campaigns for Mercedes-Benz and for Adidas Originals, and our team, which is young people, it's people between 18 and 30 years old, we won 8 international awards from different categories, and like that is also a fulfillment to see that the team that you create is successful, whether you're there or not, that it's actually happening.
So sharing that glory and passing on that belief someone had in you to give you the opportunity and giving other people, empowering them. But let's look at Nigeria as a whole. When it comes to the creative economy, do you believe Nigeria has what it takes to replace, say, oil that has been a major driver of the economy with the creative economy, entertainment, arts, culture?
You know what, people always think that creativity always just comes or links with entertainment. But if you remember, I like to take example of Leonardo da Vinci, which was one of the greatest creators of all times, but was multidisciplinary because he would enable technology to create planes. He would enable doctors to do surgeries because he would paint the first things in our organs and so on. So he showed us how to intertwine art, technology, science, medicine, you know. So in every important movement of humankind forward, there was a creator. But in the 70s, 80s, 90s, in the companies, they teach us that we're not creative because creativity takes time, it's difficult. If you experiment, it doesn't always work, and they needed us to perform, to be effective, just come at the job, do your thing, don't stroll, don't look around, just be like robots. But now AI and all the automation in technology is going to take jobs, it's going to take a lot, but there is only 2 things that they cannot substitute. It's empathy and it's creativity. So I think creativity is going to be a new currency in the future, and I think Nigerian people have always been creative. Because as me, in Czech Republic, we also struggled. We were occupied by Germans, by Russians, and we needed to be creative to kind of like preserve our way of life.
Yeah, preserve your culture and your way of doing things. And I want to take you back to, again, Nigeria. I'm looking at your outfit and I'm thinking Ankara. I'm thinking, how have you seen the culture of Nigeria, the food, the colors? I mean, Nigerians can be very flashy when they go for events. What has been your experience so far?
So when we went to University of Lagos, when I finished, the students, they took me on a tour. And it was like one of the happiest moments of this stay because we were just walking on the seaside and I saw like people were having photo shoots. They were like young people playing instruments, like just outside in the compound. I'm definitely coming back there. I want to shoot some videos to document because you see so much color and you see so much also social capital among the young people. I haven't seen everything, yeah? I'm just learning. So I'm just telling you what I see from the first point, how people like support each other and the togetherness. We have nothing like that in Europe. You know, it's much more individualistic and much more like distant.
So community, you've seen that. What about the food? Like, have you had jollof rice? Have you had any of the soups, egusi, okra?
Yeah. I love the melon soup.
Okay,
that's my favorite one.
With pounded yam, eba.
Yeah, with pando. And I also learned how to make fufu from my father in Czech Republic. Because I love African food, but you can't buy it. You can't, there's no restaurants that offer it, so the only place to eat it would be if we make it. So I had it, but to eat Nigerian food in Europe is different than to eat Nigerian food in Nigeria, so I'm having a blast.
So what are some things you've seen in Nigeria that are definitely not true as being portrayed in the media, like things that you only have to come here and you can only see this yourself before you believe it?
This is very funny that you asked that because, you know, on my Instagram page, it's Yemi Alchemist, I started this new feed. I said, welcome to Nigeria. And the first few pictures that I put was like you know, like people pushing things, people carrying stuff, drivers, people riding on motorcycles. But it's just like the first peak. And people were like, there's lots of fans, but some people are like, oh, I wish you wouldn't show these pictures because this is the prejudice, this is what everybody think that Nigeria is. And I just said, wait for it. Because this is maybe where the story begins, but is this where the story ends? I don't think it's up to others. I think it's up to us how it ends. Maybe people can see in the beginning, okay, all this like people struggle or people trying to do better or unemployment or this or that. But you need to stay a little bit longer. You need to be able to see under the surface because there is so much joy. There is so much, like people who in Europe, they will complain all day long. Here, they are powerful, they are strong, and they are pursuing. That's why I love to work with the students because like their passion and their energy can overrule anything. So I'm going to try to reveal that through my Instagram feed and through other ways, through documentary. I have a videographer here and so on. And I want people to be patient because, you know, I want to be honest about what I see, but I don't want to stay on the surface.
So it's kind of like an onion. You keep bringing one layout, another layout. And I'm sure people who have stayed with the feed would have seen the University of Lagos, the different things that you're seeing. So what plans do you have going forward?
So I'm going to go for 9 more days here. I'm going to visit Abuja. I'm invited by the embassy. I'm going to go to Ibadan, where my family is from. And and when I get that all together, I'm going to go back to Prague, where for now I live. I have a few more projects around Europe, in London, and in New York. And I will be back in December. And my goal is to gather all the materials and the videos from this trip and send it around to find more sponsors. Because for now, we have a few dozens of options for scholarships, but I don't think it's enough. And I want to offer these scholarships because, honestly, if this thing wouldn't exist, I wouldn't be born. My father came to Czech Republic to study economics, and then he influenced us somehow. Now I'm influencing. So I think to create the whole circle, I think it's on me now to bring this opportunity for someone new.
So speaking to you, I can see education is one way that we can influence the creative economy. In which other ways can we really exploit that potential that we have as Nigerians?
I think that, honestly, there are big players in the world. You know, you have China, you have India, you have United States. And I think it's important to own something that the other people do not own. You know, if everybody's doing the same, the competition is just equals. So in Czech Republic, because we are a small country, 10 million people, we go a different way than in the United States. I think in Nigeria, the creativity for me is number one. You know, the oil and all this, I think it's a little bit, it's going to be obsolete very soon. You know, it's not going to take long before the world is changing already now. We're seeing it. The exponential growth is going to change everything. The technologies are going to change everything. So I think the investment into creative industries, the investment into people, into education is the key. And I also think investment into mental health, no matter how strange it might feel, I think that sometimes it is people hurting people. You know, it's not the institutions, it's not the system that you can blame. It's just simple one, you know. So, and sometimes because people go through a lot, they go through a lot of pain, and then that pain creates them to behave different otherwise, you know. So I think those are the things.
So having traveled the world, what do you think that other people are doing, other governments are doing to make there like a thriving environment for creatives to really succeed?
I think the importance is not to stigmatize mistakes, because so in America, if you have a startup and you need funding, you go to ask for the funding, and they ask you if you have bankrupted. So naturally, you would say, no, never. You know, I'm perfect. But that answer would be wrong. Why? Because if they knew you have bankrupted, but you still stood up and you're coming forward, it means you are strong. You are able to deal with the stress and with everything. So in Czech Republic, and I think in Nigeria too, you tell me, I think people are afraid to do mistakes. People are afraid. And this time of exponential growth, the main thing is fail fast, learn fast. Every time you fail, every time you step ahead, every time you can grow. So safe environment, not to punish people. That, like, of course there's stupid mistakes because somebody is lazy or somebody doesn't want to wake up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about safe environment in aspect of being able to try to experiment a little bit, because innovation is not enough. Creation is something that is going to create that exponential curve.
And I like to touch on funding, because that's something you mentioned with the tech startups. A lot of times being creative is an expensive venture, and sometimes you don't see it. It's not as tangible as maybe you go to a school and you decide to build schools, for example. When you're investing in creativity, it might take time for that to show. So what case do we have as Nigerians to say, no, we have to invest just as much as we're investing in health, for example, in education, in creative economy?
You know what, it's very funny, because I don't think that to boost creativity is expensive. I think it's just about the mindset, and it's just about the right leaders, the right type of people who knows what to do. Because, you know, if you want to be whatever, I think every other thing will be more expensive than creativity. Sometimes, you know, like let's say that some client comes to us, like let's say Coca-Cola, they wants us to bring solution. So, and sometimes we have limits on budget. So it would be the creative people to find a way how to fulfill the budget. Like my company gets awards not for spending a lot of money, but for efficiency, for effectivity. And that effectivity comes from creativity. So I think that change, it doesn't have to be costly. I think that change just needs to be smart.
It needs to be smart. So what would you change about the creative economy, if you could, in Nigeria?
I think that right now in Lagos there is like a arts festival running. I will attend today, and I need to see more, because I think it would be very arrogant to come and talk to Nigerians about what to change before I really make my research. So I want to take my time and really go and see everything, and then come back and offer solutions. I think that sometimes we tend to leave it to the institutions or leave it to somebody. We don't want to be responsible, but the truth is every one of us, everybody can offer those solutions.
So like in your capacity, giving scholarships is one way.
Definitely.
To
because connecting, you know, you have this issue of millennials, yeah. Everybody, like people who were born between 1980 and 2000, you know, and people say they are lazy. You know, they don't keep attention. They are multitasking. They don't unplug. They, you know, they are stressed, and you know, they don't want to hear about their mistakes. But the environment and the technological boost is doing something to those kids, and we don't want to understand them, and then they don't want to understand the older people. So there is a big clash between the generations, and I think that working with the people in the university, working with the youth, listening to what they need, allowing them to travel and to learn more than bringing it back to the country, I think this is the best way to go. It might not be a solution that's going to solve everything tomorrow, but it will lay foundation, very important foundation for generations to come.
Thank you very much, Yemi AD, Yemi Aki, Yemi Dele, for that lovely conversation.
Thank you for having me.